Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Trek Amaterasu, the Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are three lovely individuals who will meet right away because it's been literally a month since we played last, and I'm eager to get back to our story. So, starting with Matthew. Matthew, who are you playing, and anything you want to shout out?
Hello, everyone. My name is, as you've been told, Matthew, and I am playing Dr. Amin Matan, a Cardassian, chief medical officer. And I have nothing to plug, shout out, or advertise.
No love to Shakespeare or Lovecraft or
Not particularly. No. I'll leave it off at that.
okay, all right. Techno, what do you got going on?
So, hello, I'm Techno. I am mentally stable and turtly present. Hello, how are we all? I am playing Jeanette Cato, the Lieutenant Commander Intelligence Officer of the Amaterasu, and I am glad to be back and looking forward to shenanigans, as always.
And last but not least, Bean.
Hello, I am Bean. I'm just a little goblin. You can find me if you type my name into Google. But yeah, welcome in. I'm playing Aegis. I am the ship's computer. Yes, that's it. Hello.
It's always great when your ship's computer's like, am I the computer? Are any of
Am
us
I
the
the computer?
computer?
What's my name?
Mm.
Have I subjugated the human race yet? Or is that on
I'm
the
not
to-do
planning to
list?
do that yet. I got the the Cardassians to do first.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the yet that always continues to worry us.
Mm-hmm.
And then
All
the
right, on
data
that note, let's get
side.
the intro going and we'll start play. And welcome back. So at the top of the session, chat has already redeemed an evil complication and a good complication. So we're starting with 5 momentum and 2 threat. But since we did leave off in the middle of a two-parter, I did ask one of the players to do an opening log, and I believe Mr. Cato has that honor today. So please take it away.
Thank you. Intelligence mission log supplemental. Encryption level Mara Kappa Indigo 7725 Alpha. The Amaterasu is finally in the Andromeda Galaxy, yet it seems the same old problems as in the Milky Way galaxy abound, as our first received communication was that of a distress signal, accompanied by a telepathic cry for assistance from a race of silicon-based life forms. After following the signal to a planet so radioactive you can basically feel your DNA unraveling from orbit, a small party consisting of myself, Commander Dr. Amin Matan, and an instance of the Amaterasu's AI core, Aegis, took a shuttle pod from the Yalatagasu in order to render aid. We found a ship teetering on the edge of a precipice and were told via a number of telepathic messages I received from the life forms on board that they were suffering from some kind of sickness. While we have moved the ship using the Yatagarasu's tractor beams to a safer location, Commander Dr. Matan is concerned about the potential for this disease to continue spreading among their crew, and possibly even us and our crew. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like our problems end there, as further investigation of the planet and questioning of the silicon-based life forms suggests it is in fact a form of gigantic exoform, a massive life form on a planetary scale that was actually just defending itself from what it assumed to be a threat from the silicon-based life form's craft. We must now look for a way to save the crew of the downed ship, protect our shipmates, and, well, I suppose ourselves. End log.
Very nice. You may have one momentum, meaning you are capped at 6 at the moment. So the only small detail you left out is that right at the end of the session, I did spend 6 threat to cause the Amaterasu to get hit. And you are next to the alien egg ship on stable ground. There's a scene trait. There's a I made like 3 notes of it. You are on stable ground. Your shields are still working. Your life support's still working. The only thing that is not working is your engines to get you out of here.
Question, ELH. Are we on a shuttle or the Amaterasu?
You are on the Amaterasu itself.
Because we didn't have a chance to get to the shuttle before the reversal happened.
Correct.
I think we were going to shuttle down.
No. We went down on the Amaterasu, which is the support craft that emerges from the Amaterasu.
Yeah.
And then I think we took a shuttle pod from that to the planet surface.
I think before we did that. I think
it was before you were talking about it, and that's when I did the reversal.
Oh, okay, my bad. So
you're good.
I mean, it's been a month.
It's the radiation talking. It scrambles the mind a bit, and I've got
clearly we made
400 odd
before
life forms talking on the Troy channel. So
yeah,
I'm a little confused. Yeah,
Kato psychic calming field level 2 is in effect. So you know.
So leaving aside those crucial details, everything is as I said, making me right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're not wrong. You've got a planet-sized life form that you're crashed on. You've got presumably the immune system of said xeno life form attacking the silicon-based life form in the egg ship. What do you want to do?
So I believe Kato was fixing the ship as best as their ability to do, and the doctor was working on a cure with what information he had, or at least working on like figuring this thing out. Which leaves me, and ELH, what does radiation do to my systems? Because I presume I'd be using a mobile emitter. Would the mobile emitter be able to survive that level of radiation out there?
Mobile emitter, you're fine. But the bioneural gel packs on the Yatagaratsu, everything is turning mauve again.
Yeah, great. Why?
Because it's funny.
No.
It's funny. They do have you there.
I find the setting.
Yeah, as being said, I do recall actually that I would be heading off to engineering to help with that, and the doctor would be working on, or was to be working on, some kind of antidote or medicine that related to the silicon-based life forms.
So, question in that regard then, ELH. With respect to the information that we've gathered regarding the planet itself through passive sensor scans, given that our active sensors seem to trigger an immune response, and the information that we have regarding the silicon-based life forms, do I think I have enough material to potentially treat their condition, or is that going to require more in-depth study of the alien life forms themselves in person?
Tell you what, we'll make it a roll. If you could give me a reason medicine, you will have a focus here. Difficulty of 4.
Right. Would anyone mind
if talents because it's been a hot minute?
Quick survey, regimented mind. I have cautious science. I don't think that there's anything really of value.
Well, at least
your methodical planning would, because if I recall correctly, the away team, the prepared away team was a trait that you made. Oh, but
Yeah, but that's
it's
just an assist to somebody
yeah, it's
else.
an assist.
Expert would apply if infectious diseases works.
That is the focus that applies. Yes.
All right, then that does come into play.
So you do get a bonus momentum. Okay.
And would anyone mind if I spent 3 momentum to roll 4 dice?
Absolutely not. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
is a rather ambiguous statement,
Yes,
but
it was. Yeah, sorry.
uh, okay.
Okay. Well, I can offer you a success with a complication.
Would
Is
I
there
be
any?
able to
Yeah.
assist?
Oh, yeah, I guess the ship would assist. Give me a. Trying to remember what the Amaterasu even has. Give me a. We'll call it a computers and a medicine. And remember, on an assist, only one die, always with a focus. Okay, now you have 4. There you go. All right. So, Matan, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that, again, according to my notes at least, since you were able to identify that the microbes, the virus that is affecting the silicon life forms, that is the immune system of the larger xeno life form planet thing, if you remove them from the immune system, it'll stop the spread. As far as reversing it, that you're going to need actual tissue samples, quote unquote tissue samples. You're going to need time and effort to fully reverse the effects.
Um, Having reviewed that information at one of the sort of adjunct consoles on the bridge of the Amaterasu, Matan, stroking his mustache very lightly, is going to turn over to Igus and then, I guess, note her physical condition and the fact that she is probably exhibiting some symptoms of that mauve vision. Corkabrow, uh,
It's due to the radiation affecting the bioneutron gel packs is nowhere near as severe as it was previously.
what? What are your symptoms?
Color blindness, I can only see mauve at the moment. I am able to determine different colors by my algorithm, but it is distracting.
Ah, would you want to create one of your instantiations using your mobile limiter, perhaps? That would disconnect you from the bioneural gel packs.
I was planning to try and keep that as fully charged as possible until we left the ship, just in case we got stranded. I didn't want to use the battery pack on it inside the ship.
Fair enough. Uh, you are still capable of performing your duties, I assume.
Yes, it is distracting, but I am fully capable. I did, while reviewing the data that you have just provided me, have an idea. This is an immune system response, yes?
Analogously, yes.
Would you be able to, with assistance, be able to either do immunosuppressants or masking of the other of the ship's crew to make it seem to the immune response that they're either not there or suppress the immune system long enough so that it stops the damage, so we can get them off the planet?
I don't think that's actually necessary at the moment. If we remove forms from the planet, that should prevent the possibility of, well, further contamination. Treatment is another matter. I'd need to examine them directly.
I was just thinking that neither of us have engines, so I do not know how long it takes to repair said engines. So giving them temporary relief may be a benefit to them.
I'll investigate the possibility. For the moment, I would like to know the viability of potentially getting them into orbit. Um, could you give me a passive scan of their ship? I'd like to know if their hull integrity would withstand re-entry into orbit.
Engineering insight, DLH?
Yep. Engineering and insight, difficulty of 1.
Okay. I don't think I have a focus on this. Um, no, because I don't think targeting sense systems would help me scan. So,
Probably not, no.
all right.
Assisted by sensor science?
Sensor
Yeah.
science on the Amaterasu, yep. So you're already getting 1 momentum. Okay, so just the
It's
1
not a
momentum.
complication.
Okay.
Well, again, according to my notes, you did carefully move the egg ship via tractor beam already. You are on stable ground. So yes, you can actually lift the ship up using a tractor beam again. Hell, if you really wanted to, you could call the Amaterasu and have them lift you both up with its tractor beam.
Hmm. Using the bonus momentum that I acquired from completing the infectious disease focused task and one of our own momentum,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to create a trait.
Okay.
That being something to the effect of I guess it's a manifestation of like understanding the immune system or the chemical signals associated with that immune system so that we could affect the plan that being suggested more easily. So
Okay.
understanding like the particular biochemical signatures of the alien being.
Also being able to use sensors, but not triggering an immune sense response, since you will understand the chemical reaction, because it could be just like a few parts of the sensor sweep we're using that's triggering that rather than the sensor sweep itself.
Right. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to give you the trait of Xenoimmune Signature 1.
Yeah.
And I believe that'll knock you down to 3 momentum.
Yes.
Doctor, I have a potentially risky course of action, but it may increase the chances of survival for the other ship's crew.
Be my guest.
If I was
Not to
to,
not to affect the plan, but to explain the plan. Just to
yes,
clarify,
I
I
I
wouldn't
I
want there to be any
understand your
confusion in that
intention.
regard.
If I was to dawn my mobile emitter and go to the other ship, I may be able to get the sensor scans that you need for your medical procedure, and to make sure that the ship, even though it is structurally sound, is able to survive a void. Because I am
Well,
using passive sensors at the moment.
based on the sensor scans that you did just take, it seems as if their vessel is in, well, not working condition, but it's stable. I don't think we have to be worried about that. And I'm not comfortable sending you out.
Is there a particular reason for that, or
Well, you're a, what are you, a science officer exactly? You're
a
a,
security officer?
oh, well, does that even really apply to you, considering the fact that you can assume almost any position on the ship?
True, I am trained in all positions of the ship, but my primary role is security and espionage.
Well, in that case, you're a security officer and not a doctor. No offense.
Very well.
I believe that the responsibility for investigating the alien craft of its crew should fall to me.
Very well, if you believe that is the most prone course of action. Though I just realized neither of us are speaking in the capacity of a captain, who is currently, if I remember correctly, that Techno is the captain at the moment, who is
Nope,
currently
Matan is. I made a note.
Matan
Matan is
is.
currently in command.
Yes.
Yeah, I transferred command, I think, at the end of the session.
Understandable. Never mind. I rescind my previous out of character statement.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you, however, to liaise with the lieutenant commander to see if you can get the engines operational.
Very well. I shall see what repairs I can help with.
Hmm.
Wink,
And
wink.
for the time being, and I'll just tap his comm badge. Matan Takeda.
Kato here. Still on my way to engineering. Oh, is everything okay?
Yes, I am about to disembark from the vessel in order to provide assistance to the silicon-based life forms that you've contacted. If you could potentially inform them of my intentions and assume command from engineering.
Uh, Absolutely. Are you sure that's, I won't say wise, I'm sure you've worked out whether or not that it's a good idea or not. Are you sure it's necessary to expose yourself to that level of risk at this point?
I'm loath to leave them in the current state for however long it takes us to get the engines back online and then return to orbit.
I understand your. I understand what you're saying. However, I feel that it would be remiss of me not to suggest that we do wait until we have the engines back online, or at least an estimate of how long that will be. If you can give me 5 minutes, I can be in engineering and assess the situation.
Well, it will take me a little bit longer than that to put together the necessary supplies, given the state of the ship. So you have your 5 minutes.
Very, very generous of you. Thank you. In the meantime, I can contact the life forms. We really need a name for them, but I can certainly contact either 2 or 5 or any
There's a
one
polite
of
knock
the.
on the Troy channel.
Of course there is.
Doctor, you'll have to excuse me. I'm being contacted, in fact, by one of them. Not one necessarily, but one of them. Can you just 1 moment, if you would?
Yeah, of course.
And I'm going to open the metaphorical door to receive the message.
Hello, I am number 7.
Hello, 7. Nice to meet you.
I see that you have crash landed next to us. Do you need any assistance?
You're very kind to offer. We are assessing the damage at the moment, and we hope to be in a position to get both of us out of this off the planet's surface in short order. How is your crew? Are they suffering at all from the movement of us moving your ship? Are you feeling any better? Is the virus or the disease progressing at all? What's your status?
The ship is perfectly fine. However, the crew, especially 2, has become unconscious and is no longer responding to our treatment.
Oh, well, that is less than ideal. The entire crew, excepting yourself?
Myself and 5 are the only remember conscious members of the crew.
And you were 7, so 7 and 5. Okay. Well, between you, that's 15, so you should be fine. Let me think.
It's 12. It's 12. 5 plus 7 is 12.
I've never been good at maths, as you might be able to tell. It's a good thing I went into intelligence and not, say, stellar cartography. Right. Let me speak to our geologist, and I'll get back to you with details of a plan shortly. In the meantime, let us know if your situation changes, and yeah, just keep in touch.
7 gives you a psychic thumbs up emoji.
Of course.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. Doctor, this is no, I left the line open. I've just closed it. Doctor, hello. Sorry about that. I've just been on to 7 on board their ship, and he's informed me that a number of their crew are now unconscious. In fact, the majority. There's only 7 and 5 left awake and I won't say able. I don't know their exact status, but certainly it seems the situation is deteriorating at their end.
Well, if there are 12 of them still conscious, that seems quite, positive.
Well, that yes, indeed. But that's not how this works. Their names are 7 and 5, not the quantity of them, as I understand it.
I'm sorry. It's really rather confusing at times. Oh no, that's drastically worse.
Well, yes, I mean, I
find
numbers considerably more difficult than they should be sometimes. So I
no,
understand
I didn't
your
mean
confusion.
the addition and the number. I meant the number of them that are unconscious. That's concerning.
Well, of course, yes, not the addition. Who would get the addition wrong? That's insane.
Doctor, I see that you're trying to leave the ship on your own. May I suggest either taking a crew or one of my instances, since way team mission protocol requires you to go with quote unquote the buddy system, especially in this dangerous situation.
I'm loath to endanger anyone other than myself, but it would seem rather hypocritical if I didn't accept the offer of a volunteer. You may, of course, select one of your instances and join me outside.
Well, I'm going to leave you and Clip It to deal with that particular issue, and I'm going to get on to engineering. So I'll be in contact with you once I know the status of our engines.
Very good, Commander. Best of luck.
Thank you. I think we might, in fact, need it.
So
Out.
the amorphid, like semi-shark person, Igus 24 will appear next to you and go, "Hello there, Doctor. I am here to assist." Oh,
Limbs necessary for you to assist, or is that merely an affectation?
I have 2 arms, 2 legs. I also have a tail, but that's for aesthetic reasons.
Well, I don't judge.
Hmm.
Well, I guess since you are offering to assist me, would you? And he sort of like points out various different items within the probably rather poorly stocked sick bay, although it's been somewhat accommodated by the fact that we have prepared for this mission. And he just sort of like directs her to gather up some of those supplies to bring along to the silicon-based life forms vessel.
Is there anything here in the medical supplies which are specifically designed for silicon life forms, like Horta? Is that the right word? The like lava
The
species?
Horta, yes.
The Horta, yes.
Mhm.
Like, can we get like specialized tool to deal with them? Because that's going to be the nearest thing.
Well, there's the trowel over there, and there's some quick drying cement right there, and
But yes, the Starfleet equivalent of like a hammer and chisel, I guess.
Well, I have good
And of
news and I
course,
have
in the
bad
shuttle
news.
bay, we've got that concrete mixer as well. So, yeah.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news actually is because you prepared away team traded last session, you actually do have any tool you need when it comes to a silicon based life form. So as much as you make the joke about, concrete and, mixers and all that, you actually have such tools available to you on the Amaterasu if you so wish. The bad news, though, real quickly, because I want to handle Kato. Kato, when you get to engineering, no roll required unless you really want to risk it because of complications, but it's not looking good. And what I mean by that is your primary EPS conduit that leaves out of the warp core has completely shattered. And the only thing that's going to be fixing it is a replacement conduit, which you can't exactly replicate on the Amaterasu without engines in the first place. Which means you either have to get a new one from the Amaterasu, or you have to scavenge one from the egg ship.
And I feel like this is when Igus 1 winks into existence.
Yeah, in fact, I was about to call for an IGIS instance, so that saves me the trouble. Thank you. IGIS, is this...
as bad as it looks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm no engineer, but I don't think all these rocks should be everywhere. And
no, the regulation rock should be with the grav plating.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And that EPS conduit is continuously sparking, and the lights are flickering. So I presume this is.
And this rock is too big anyway. I mean, what's it even? Never mind. Okay. Right. Okay. So I'm trying desperately to remember my engineering 101 here, and basically I'm led to believe that the primary EPS conduit, which is that broken sparking thing over there,
with its secondary and tertiary backups completely fried.
Yes, all of those things. That's somewhat critical for the functioning of the warp core.
Either we would need to get a coupling, a bypass which would probably take hours, if not days, or we would need to find a replacement.
Well, I don't think that the replicators are going to be up for a job of that scale. They can barely handle an order of nacho and cheese.
The replicators would take 2 standard Terran years to replicate at the current energy capacity they have, the parts we would need.
Well, that's longer than we have. So I suppose our options boil down to contacting the AMI, which I don't really want to do. I mean, there's two ships now which are in distress, and I'd really rather not add a third to the equation unless we have to try. So I guess that leaves us with either.
Sending out a distress call with the information we found, that census sweep seemed to trigger some sort of defense response, and the fact the planet is alive would give the Amaterasu the ability to adapt to the situation.
Yes, I agree. Can you package up a message to that effect and either shoot it out via a buoy or shoot a subspace message at the AMI, please? I think that's probably going to be the best first point that we address. Secondly, you said running a bypass would be it would be hours of work.
Yes.
By the way, how many? It's just the three of us on the ship, isn't it? This is an out of character question. Sorry.
We have the support crew, don't we? Because whenever we take the Yami, we get any support characters.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. I think what ended up happening is I'm checking my notes here. And yes, I did see the chat complication. It took a bit for the threat tracker to update. Let me see. According to my notes, there were 1 to 2 other supporting characters that came with you, but we left the actual names of the supporting characters nebulous. So if you actually want a engineer of some kind, if you actually want another doctor, you have two people to play with. And the mechanic I'm using for that, it's a little used mechanic, but the Amaterasu has 2 crew support, and every crew support is 1 NPC you can spin up.
So I'm guessing IGUS 24 is already using up one of those crew support.
Correct, which means you actually only have 1 crew support remaining.
Yay. Okay.
I can see here in erective repairs if you wish to go to the alien spacecraft.
Well, that's certainly an option. In fact, but I'm wondering, would it be better for us to? In fact, actually, 1 second, Aegis. Doctor, can you? And he taps his comm badge. I appreciate your preparing for your away mission. I think it has become a necessity. You'll be well. Glad to know is not the expression. The information is this: the warp core is not in a good place. It's not looking to melt down or breach or anything like that. But the primary EPS conduit has been blown out, as have all of the backups and whatnot.
So what you're saying is that the patient's heart is in perfect working order, but every single vein, ventricle, and sort of element of the circulatory system has been severed.
Well, not every. I mean, we still have internal power. I'm not entirely sure how that's working. In fact, at this
emergency power, I imagine.
Well, you'd think, but I'm not entirely. Let's put that issue aside for a moment. I mean, it's a fair analogy, Doctor. Yes, certainly, at the very least, the engines are not going to be working anytime soon. I've been talking with Aegis, and they've suggested one possibility is to try and bypass the EPS grid. I don't think that's going to be something we can affect, or certainly not something I can affect anytime quickly. We can't replicate the parts that we need, and I'm loath to contact the Amaterasu and ask them to come into orbit based on the experience of the last 2 ships we know to have done so. If you're preparing for an away mission to the other ship, I was wondering about perhaps salvaging potentially working components from their engines, bringing them aboard our ship, and we all escaping together. However, I recall that you said there was I believe it was a 4% or a 5% chance of this disease being able to leap to a carbon-based life form.
That's correct, yes. But if we would manage to restore power using parts from their vessel, couldn't we simply take them into orbit using a tractor beam?
Yes, we could. It's more the risk to us. Well, yes, I suppose so. So okay, so that's not a bad solution. Okay, I'm going to come and help you prepare, and in fact, am going to accompany you on this away mission as well. I think it would probably be best if Aegis mans the ship, so to speak, and or at least one of your instances, Aegis, could man the
Would you like
ship.
the primary instance to man the ship?
That would seem wise.
It would, yes. And then one of your instances perhaps can accompany us as well.
Yes, already stationed 24 as a medical assistant to the doctor. Yes.
Good. I like 24. Okay. Yes, Doctor. I'm going to come and join you then in preparing. I think that's probably our best course of action.
Well, I've almost gathered all the supplies that I need. I guess 24 is indeed proving to be quite an assistance. So do hurry.
Yes, I'm going to grab some engineering toolkits or equipment that I think might be necessary,
I've prepared a sting for you, and a Tellarite comes out of a Jeffrey's tube, and he hands you a kit. I don't know if you'll need all of that, but I've prepared it nonetheless.
Where have you been hiding?
Oh, I sleep in the Jeffrey's
tubes.
tubes. They're very, very quiet.
Even with all of this going on? No, clearly not. You've gotten me an engineering kit. Can you fix? And he just points towards the warp core.
Well, I can't actually, make the EPS conduit hold again, but what I can do is work on that rerouting idea that you had. By the way, my name is Lieutenant Tom. Literally just Tom, nothing special.
Right. Are you okay? So we've got a Bob and a Tom on our engineering staff. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. In fact, he and I go drinking in 6-star every other day.
Right. And you said that, sorry, you said this was a Tellarite?
This is a Tellarite, yeah.
Okay.
I know, for once, he's not Sean Connery, so it's very confusing.
He's a northern Tellarite.
Northern, yeah, lots of planets have a north.
From the cold places.
I think all the planets have a north, but
they
tends to be there.
Alcohol made from earth potatoes.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're better at engineering than you smell, Tom. That was like an attempt at insulting you.
I see you were attempting to argue with me. Well, I must inform you that I am not that kind of Tellarite.
Oh, in that case, I apologize for what.
No, you smell shit as well.
Well, it's been a very tense day.
He smiles and laughs and pats you on the shoulder and says, "No, I'm just fucking with you. Go, save the world. I'll work on the EPS conduit."
Just for future reference, which part of me were you fucking with? Was it the you don't have insult? You're not that kind of Tellarite? Or the...
Yes, the answer is yes.
Don't say that.
Commander, or am I acting captain now?
Yes.
Yes, Aegis, you are acting captain now. You are commanding officer of the ship. I don't think I have the ability to promote you to captain, acting or otherwise.
Besides for going for what is normally the tradition in the Navy, we shall go with, I believe you are needed in the airlock.
Yes, I feel like shooting myself out of an airlock about now, so that's good. Okay, thank you, Tom. And he picks up the engineering kit and just books it straight out of the room for the airlock.
All right.
My database says your name is Ton Schmacker. Is that correct?
Oh, we don't talk about my last name. My last name is a great personal shame of mine, so I just go by Tom.
Understandable.
But yeah, in the airlock, one thing I want to keep track of is initially you all prepared force field belts to keep out the silicon virus. And I made a note here that some of you were using EVA suits, but Matan made a specific note only to use the force field belt. Is that still the case?
I think you may want to use the EVA as a radiation guard, then get out the EVA suit if you want to.
No, he's going to just be wearing the force field belt.
Yeah, I think this came down to like
dexterity and the necessity thereof. Yes.
Well, I was just thinking that going from ship to ship, you may want to use the environmental suit.
And I will remind you, Doctor, that you can in fact take the gloves off of the suit should you need the extra dexterity.
Look, I've already spent enough time waiting for you. Let's go.
Very well. Let's go.
Activating Aegis 24, giving her quick study.
All right. So you open up the airlock and you are greeted with a vibrantly neon green landscape. Again, it is neon green to an extreme. It is actually almost eye shattering. It's so vibrant. And almost immediately, those of you in EVA suits are getting warnings that there is a significant amount of radiation outside, as in astronomical radioactivity going on. Of course, you all have force field belts, so the radiation is kept out. But it is one of those things where, as you are walking the short distance between your ship and the egg ship, which again is kind of this prismatic purple, you notice that your force field belts are being taxed to capacity, where the actual field itself is kind of shimmering, glittering, that sort of effect we see sometimes on TNG and in Voyager, where it's keeping out particulate. Same kind of thing here. So you kind of have like pseudo glitter around your forms, if you will. But as you walk across this landscape, it's stable ground, so I can't fuck with you.
The best
It is
book
stable
trait.
ground. You do get to the egg ship, and you are looking around for some kind of an airlock, some kind of an entry, when quite literally a oval opens up in the side of the ship, and a ramp descends to where you are waiting.
Well, that's helpful. I was about to. Never mind. Shall we? Because
Yes.
I don't like all of this
I
sparkly.
like it even
glitter.
less.
Yes.
Yes.
Well. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't have taken you 5 minutes to put on an EVA suit, but okay. Let's.
You'd be surprised at how long it would take me to put on an EVA suit. I'm not particularly
I'm
skilled.
24 of myself could have helped. Should we less argue and more onboarding of the ship doing?
Yes.
All right. So you go up the ramp, and when you enter into the egg ship itself, it is a very interesting environment because you might have been expecting corridors or some kind of cave system. Well, the cave system actually might be a better example because I'd like you to imagine a grand amphitheater where the entire interior of the ship is one singular room. And there are features such as flowing, I don't know if you would call it water, but some sort of silicate liquid is flowing into pools. You have grand stalactites and stalagmites. You have what appears to be a warp core that is fused with the wall. And what immediately comes to mind when you look at the actual crew of this vessel is once again Lego bricks, or as Techno made the joke of, blue bricks in this universe. But they very much look like moving Lego blocks. They are very not concentric rectangles, but it's pretty close to like a bismuth crystal, where it's all squares, all rectangles, all sharp edges. There are 10 of them in here. 8 of them are turning sort of this sickly white color, while the 2 that are currently sliding across the cave floor to meet you, they have some little white coloring on their form, but you would, at least Techno, Kato would recognize these as 5 and 7.
Question, ELH, did they make any notion that they noticed the hologram?
They appear to not notice you, as in they're not making any noticeable movements towards you.
Okay, so 24 is immediately going to go over to the 8, which are completely unconscious, and start making scans.
Okay, I will make a note. We'll get to you in a moment.
Greetings, 7 and 5. I presume. Can you? Is this working? Does verbal communication, is that possible, or does it have to be telepathic?
So they respond, and your universal translators do that thing where you take 2 microphones, you put them together, and there's that feedback screech. But then you get a reply in Federation Common. Can you understand us now? Can hello? We're
Yes.
talking. Hello.
Hello. Yes. No. Yeah. That seems to have worked. Greetings. Lovely to meet you in person at last. This is our geologist, Dr. Matan.
Not a geologist.
Just go with it. And I am, of course, Lieutenant Commander Cato, and we are here to assist you and perhaps also discuss salvaging some parts from your ship to put into ours so we can make it work and then lift you up into orbit, and whether that's something that you'd be amenable to. And basically, we're going to try and put our various appendages together in order to leave this planet.
You are very different from the aliens we have encountered.
Well,
And that's their first point of questioning?
apparently. Thank you. We have.
Forgive me for interjecting, but I would very much like to be able to examine the crew members of your ship who have fallen unconscious. So, if either of you is at all familiar with the field of geology, perhaps you could escort me over there and provide me with some background information while, Commander, you continue to discuss our current predicament.
Oh, neither of us are geologists. We are what you would call explorers.
Well, we have that in common. Doctor, perhaps then in that case...
I'll see myself out of the conversation. Excuse me.
You'll have to excuse the doctor. He's a geologist, not a diplomat. And I'm not sorry at all for that.
Oh, you're good.
No, there's no being sorry for that. No.
But 5 and 7, I like you to imagine just these rectangular bismuth crystals just kind of shuffle to look at one another before shuffling back. Yes, you are very different from the life forms we have encountered. Every other life form we have encountered during our exploration has all been silicon-based. You are carbon-based.
Indeed, we are, and that's incredibly fascinating to us. We are, in fact, not from around here, which may be part of why we're so different to you. We're from well, not to put too fine a point on it, we're from a different galaxy, in fact. So
your species is capable of crossing the Great Void.
Not directly. We have had assistance from a stable, what we call a wormhole. Interestingly enough, there is a life form similar to yourselves, a silicon-based entity or series of entities, life forms that we are that we know as the Horta. That they are very similar to you, which is why I feel confident our geologist will be able to assist you.
So 5 and 7 look at one another, look back at you, back at one another, and then they say, "Did you say Horta?"
I did, yes.
Then perhaps this is not a coincidence. You see, the Horta were the progenitors of our species.
Oh, your chips off the old block, so to say.
The metaphor does not translate.
It doesn't matter. That's incredibly interesting. Perhaps after we've saved all of your crew and indeed all of mine, we can discuss this further and perhaps have an exchange of information. Yes, it was. I mentioned that our ship has undergone damage.
What are the Horta like? Are they as great as our predecessors make them out to be? And they just start bombarding you with questions about the Horta.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how great they've been made out to be. Can we shelve that particular issue? Can we come back to that?
Oh no! They are like eager puppies. They want to know more. They want to know more about their Horta. Yeah. But as you're dealing with that, let's go over to Igus and Matan. So Igus and Matan, you have 8 things. They still haven't given you a name, but you have 8 aliens to work on. Just tell me what you're looking for, and I'll adjudicate as needed.
I specifically are looking for foreign bodies. From my
Mhm.
understanding, from what's attacking them is an immune system. So I'm looking for the silicon equivalent to a white blood cell. Or no, is the planet a silicon life form?
Mm,
Well, it would still be a foreign body to the silicon life form anyway. So I'm looking for like cells and that sort of thing, which is doing the damage.
okay. And Matan, anything you're looking for in particular?
Yeah, I would like to scan all 8 of the life forms to see the progression of the disorder or the disease. In other words, which one has been affected most severely, and can I sort of organize them in a chronological sequence to understand how the disease is affecting them over time?
Okay. So, together, the both of you are going to be doing a reason medicine here. The difficulty was going to start at a 5. However, you have prepared a 18. That goes down to a 4. You also have the Xenoimmune signature trait, which will knock it down to a 3. And I have 4 threat. Why don't we spend 2 of it to make the complication range in 18 to 20 as well? So difficulty 3, complication range 18 to 20. You're both doing reason medicine. I would assume Igus is assisting Matan, but that could change.
I have xenobiology as a focus, and I have quick study, which means I'm more used to dealing with unknown variables.
Does
I'm
that
rolling under
reduce
a
the
16.
I'm rolling under 14, so
Yeah, I also have medicine of 4 and infectious diseases specialization with expert in that. So I think I'd probably take the lead on that.
okay.
I'll spend 3 momentum to roll 2 extra dice,
okay?
if that's all right with everyone.
Hmm.
Complication of range of 18 to 20, focus, and you're assisting?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's already 6.
Oh,
There we go. There's the complication. Well, the good news is since it was a difficulty of 3, you do get 3 momentum right back. You could spend 2 of that momentum to get rid of the complication, if
Uh,
you so wished.
I think I'll spend my 1 bonus momentum from
Oh,
expert
that's right. From
along
expert.
with one of those 3 momentum, if
so
everyone agrees, to neutralize that complication.
I know it's been a neutralized complication, but can I flavor it a little bit that it is reacting to my, because I'm photonic,
Mm-hmm.
it is reacting to that like the sensor scan. So
Yeah.
that's so when I get closer, the whatever's ever's inside it, the Lego species tries to leap out to get me. Whether it actually does any issues or not, that's another thing. However, it's neutralized, but that's what.
I like that
Yeah.
idea.
And then, if I could flavor that even further, just a little bit, Matan notices that in terms of his sensor scans and the bioelectrical signature of the life form itself to you. So you modify your holographic matrix to
Mm.
neutralize the effects and allow you to assist.
Okay.
All
And
right.
that's how we neutralize the complication narratively.
Got it. So you have 8 patients in front of you. They actually do follow a nice chronological exposure order where one of them is quite literally at death's door, the other one is just recently fallen unconscious. And overall, what you're noticing is that the silicon life form is once again conflicting with the immune system, but the immune system isn't, say, microscopic, it's actually macroscopic. And because you gave me the idea, I guess, what it actually is the thing inside of these poor aliens, when it tries to come out and attack you, it's actually what looks to be like a little triangle prism, as it were, that kind of sticks out of the flesh of the aliens. That is something you could quite literally take and pick up if you so wanted to. But since you did get rid of the complication, those triangular prisms do recede back into the actual alien itself.
Doctor, I have a suggestion of course of action.
I'm sorry, I'm slightly stupefied by the he just sort of gestures at probably the small aperture that's been left behind on the crystalline surface of the creature. Never seen anything like that before, but
Oh, my
I have
algorithm
some
has 24
suggestions
cases
as
of
well.
this.
But please continue, I guess.
So my suggestion would be to modify a tricorder with a tube system, put it over the entry point of this creature, and lure it into the tube. Then, once the creature is out, we will then erect a process of triage.
I'm concerned about that, and he's going to take his tricorder. And I'd like to ask a question based on what we've just observed. The free question. No, actually, I'm not a science officer. I'm a medical officer.
Don't you have something that gives you? Is it? Hold on. Technically, this is the start of a scene, so quick survey would apply.
Okay. Then the question I'd like to ask is, given the number of these entities that are likely infesting one of these aliens,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of damage would be done if they all emerged as did the one we just saw? Would this be fatal potentially? Would it cause a tremendous amount of harm, irreparable damage? What are we talking about there?
The answer is yes if you did it all at once, but if you somehow tailored your treatment to pull it out one by one through the same hole, then it would be still probably very painful for the creature, but it would have a much greater chance of surviving. So it's kind of one of those things where you could do it all at once, but the patient would die, or you could go through the long, painful process of what I'm going to call the Tony Stark surgery, where, you got to pull out
Like it.
those little metallic bits out of the creature.
Okay. Okay. So we just put them into a giant electromagnet, and that just freezes the creatures in place, and we're all done.
Yeah,
And then we create a
just
race
create
of
an
Iron
arc
Man.
reactor out of your tricorder. It's fine.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Tony
Tony
Stark
Stark
was
built
able.
this in a cave out of a box of scraps.
Why can't you? I'm not Tony Stark.
Whereas we're in
Who's
an
Tony
egg.
Look,
Stark?
I've got the mustache. I'm practically Tony Stark. Classic 80s Tony Stark. Okay, fine. Well, I guess I do believe that your plan has merit, but we'd have to carefully modulate the sensor frequencies of the tricorder in order to ensure that, well, the patients aren't ripped apart from the inside.
Affecting a bleed out. If
Yes.
that's yes.
I mean, it would be more internal evisceration than simply bleeding out, but the point is taken.
Well, I am ready when you are, Doctor.
Fascinating. And he takes a step forward, takes out his tricorder, and begins to start making those modifications. Stops for a moment, looks down at these creatures, and shakes his head. You ever take a moment to just step back and think about what we're doing here? We've just encountered silicon-based life forms, and they've been assaulted by the immune system of a a, a cosmozoan creature the size of a planet.
I have suppressed my wonder due to the emergency, but I can activate it if you want me to.
I don't think you should ever suppress that. That's a very tragic decision on your
When
part.
it is life and death situation, I prefer to suppress the things which could distract me from saving people's lives.
Well, you're missing out. And he begins to affect that procedure with Icus's help. And perhaps if this is a sort of engineering task to modify the tricorder, she'd be the one to take the lead while he uses medical knowledge to
Don't give that
assist.
to Igus 24. She's part of engineering.
Well, I'm going to let you all decide who's doing this, but to modify the tricorder to do what you want, it is a daring engineering at a difficulty of 3. And you, of course, can assist one another on this, but I think both of your daring and engineering is not great.
I got
Oh,
11.
look at that. Chat just gave me a complication. I'm gonna take that complication and just give myself some
Thanks.
2 threat for now. Because I'm saving
Uh,
threat for something.
Well, yours is an 11 and mine is a 10. So
Oh, okay then.
you actually, I guess, doesn't have determination, does she?
She doesn't have determination. This one doesn't know.
Okay, then maybe I'll take it and use determination on it. And you assist. Okay.
Okay.
So he'll attempt to modify his tricorder in order to emit I guess, like some kind of sequential pulse of the signal associated with the active sensor scan that will attract the creatures progressively.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's daring and engineering. Perform task. I'll give you 2 momentum to roll 3 dice.
Okay.
I will
That's
spend.
first edition. You only need to give one
No, I
because
need to give 2 because I'm spending determination, right?
No,
no,
but that excuse me. That is actually one of the major changes in second edition is that the determination spend just turns one of your existing dice into a 1 rather than adding another die.
Okay.
So it would only be the 1 momentum for a third die.
Okay. Then complication range still 18 to 20.
Yes.
fun. Oh, that's 2 dice rolled.
We'll
Do you want
take
me
the
to roll
first
it?
one. You're fine. So that is 5 successes.
Thank
So you
you.
actually get 2 momentum back, bringing you up to 4 with chat's help. And yeah, working together, you are able to successfully modify the tricorder to do what you want. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deliberately make it a trait. We'll call it prototype tricorder. And we'll make it a 1. So what this prototype tricorder means is that this is what is allowing you to treat the creatures without there being a risk of an issue. Now the problem is that treating each of these creatures is going to take 1 interval of time, and there are 8 creatures. So if that wasn't bad enough, and we'll get to Kato in a moment, I'm going to spend 2 threat here to say that you only have 6 intervals of time before something happens.
Before we go over to Kato, I guess 24 will go. Would you like for me to enact my plan on my own so you'd be able to treat the patients some other means so that we have the ability to cover all of the people? For my algorithm states that we don't have enough time to cure the patients this way with the means that we have.
I can certainly attempt to devise a different means of treating the other patients if you don't believe that they'll last long enough.
I believe I'll be able to save 6.
I'm going to move on to the ones that are most heavily injured or closest to expiring. I think that the additional trauma, even of this method, might be too much for their systems to handle.
Affirmative.
So he'll try to devise a different method of addressing those, and I have an idea, but I do want to get Techno perhaps back into this. So maybe we can cut over to him for a second.
Yeah, we're going to come over to Kato. Kato, at this point, you are fielding question after question about Horta biology and Hortus culture and horticulture. Huh? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a thing now. Horticulture. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. In fact, as I'm fielding these questions, I've been sort of like inching around them and moving them and positioning them more so that we're more towards the sort of warp core that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of in between fielding these questions, I'm just like, and this is your primary.
Yes, that geode is where we siphon the energy from our reaction.
Right. Which of these is analogous to some kind of electroplasma supply?
That's going to be a presence engineering at a difficulty of 3.
Sorry, presence engineering, did you say?
Yep.
My power stats. Well, actually, presence is my better one, so let's give it a go. I'm going to take a momentum if nobody minds.
You go ahead.
Let me think. I don't suppose I could sell you on this being cultural studies as a focus, because I'm looking at a warp core designed by a silicon-based life form, which would be analogous to our own, but obviously have its own idiosyncrasies and
You can
quirks.
have
Yes.
Go ahead.
Enough waffling.
And see, chat, if you just say enough words, eventually they give in. Okay, yes. So I'm going to roll 3 dice. Focus. Let's see what happens.
Hey,
Okay.
I can offer you a success with a complication.
Yeah. I will take it. I'm also going.
Alternatively, what I will point out is you do have backup plans, which means if you do opt to fail this task, you do get a momentum back.
Hmm.
I mean, that
Yeah, I was. Sorry,
would mean that you have to come up with another plan of how to get us off the ground.
It does. It does. No, I'll take the success with complication.
Okay. So 5 and 7 says, yes, that nodule there is what supplies power to the rest of the ship. However, if we remove it, we will lose atmospheric containment.
Right. Interesting. Okay. And you like the Horta, you need a certain atmosphere in order to be able to live,
We can subsist in many different environments.
but not this environment, as in the environment outside of your ship.
Correct. That is very radioactive and not pleasing.
Not pleasing, but not fatal.
That is correct.
How long could you deal with the discomfort if necessary?
They look at each other. We are not geologists.
Right. Yes, I suppose I can't fault you for that. Let me think.
However, we could go explore and find out.
I think that's let's call that plan.
Pass.
But it's if we put it somewhere in a sedimentary system, it's somewhere near the bottom. Let's say.
Well, that is where the best food is located.
Somewhere near the top, then.
That is also where some of the best food is located.
Where is the worst food located?
In the middle.
Cool. That's where we're going to put this particular plan, in the middle there, okay?
Hold on, 7. You are forgetting the sediment of tertiary adjunct number 5. Ah, yes, tertiary adjunct number 5. That was quite delectable.
Right. Yes.
Because they eat rocks.
How does... I'm not going to get into this. This is not important. It's important. Don't get me wrong. I, like you, I'm an explorer, but I the time and a place. So here is. So if I remove this nodule and I sort of point to it and move my hand around it, we. And in fact, I'm going to look at it. Can I do some kind of engineering check to actually work out if it's actually going to be even useful at this point? Because I don't even know that it would be. It's if it's like a rock inside of other rocks and it's just moving a flow of magma or something around, then obviously that's not going to be doing what we need it to. So
give me insight engineering, difficulty of 3.
Can I take all that momentum, guys, or is that?
Yeah, sure. Have fun.
Okay. I don't know if this will be fun, but let's see what happens.
Okay, yeah.
No, go on.
I was wondering if you had a focus, but I just looked at your focuses. No, you don't.
Well, again, unless I can continue with my
complete
bullshit cultural studies. No. No, okay, fair enough.
It's a legitimate degree.
Just not useful in this situation.
Yeah, well, I do take it for granted sometimes.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Hey.
Well, I have good news and bad news. You did succeed, but there's a complication. So you're quite actually on the money, Techno, where, Kato's looking at this and you're like, no, this is rated for some sort of magma, not plasma. There's a subtle difference there. But as you're looking around and you're looking around at, the various different equipment that they have in here, you spot what looks like a bunch of slag in the corner. And you run your tricorder over it, and yeah, this slag is rated for plasma.
Hmm. And what's this? And he sort of gestures to the pile.
That is our waste deposit.
Well, interesting. That and you put that next to your engine. This isn't the time. That would imply to me that you don't need this.
But it's waste. Why would you need it?
Well,
we were actually scheduled to dump it out into the atmosphere, but now we think that's a terrible idea.
Well, it might be, and the reason I say that is it contains components or substances within it that actually might be usable in our engines.
You power your engines via waste.
Well, it's certainly one way to look at it. Yes.
You are not like any creatures we have encountered.
I should say that we don't, but it's not. This isn't an ideal situation, but we can make something useful of the waste if it's not culturally inappropriate or disgusting for me to be able to take and handle this.
You are different from any other culture we have encountered.
Wonderful. I'm going to assume that's a good thing at this point, because it's that difference which strengthens all of us. And I am very different to my colleagues over there, for example, and we are obviously all very all very different.
Who said that? We are unable to see this colleague that made this remark.
So let's address that at a later time. When we have a bit more of an understanding of your
Have we gone blind? And they start looking around.
No. I think it's an aspect of your unique geology that might prevent you from being able to visually perceive my colleague.
We are not geologists.
Yes, so you would not understand exactly. What I was
perhaps we should help you move the waste.
Well, we'd need to move it to our ship. And as you've pointed out, the atmosphere outside would be uncomfortable to you.
We're explorers. We do the uncomfortable.
Well, yes. Okay, fair enough. Certainly it would be easier for you to move it, I imagine, than it would for me. It looks unfathomably heavy. Question. Can I in any way rig up my... because I've got the EV suit on, can I rig my force field belt so that it would work for one or indeed both of the horters?
You'd have to stay really close to them, but yes.
I couldn't put it on them, for example, is what I'm getting at. And
well, you could. There would just be that small little detail about the potential of the immune system attacking you.
Yeah,
roughly a 5% chance, which is a 20 on a D20.
Yeah, which is the way we've been rolling this evening. Okay. In that case, needs of the many. Okay, yeah, I'm going to make an attempt to adjust my... because I'm still wearing the EV suit, so I feel comfortable that I'm at least isolated from weird little prismatic immune system things. So I'm rationalizing this in character. So I'm going to take my force field belt and I'm going to attach it to one of the other horters. We need to think of a name for them. Quick question. What do you call yourselves?
They say a name which does not translate.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful.
There it goes.
Yeah, we're okay, good, great.
However, in peering into your mind, we have created a name which might be sufficient.
Great. What name would that be?
Bricks. Out of character BRIXX.
Bricks. I see. Well, okay. Good to know. Thank you. And then out of character again, I'm going to take my force field generator and I'm going to see if I can adjust it to increase the field width but lower the height, because I'm guessing these guys are quite... I'm assuming that they're the same size as a horter would be.
A little bit smaller, but yeah.
Okay, so I can adjust the field to like a smaller degree, so it's not covering a person, but more covering a sort of low area.
A small
Or
hill.
I'd like to try. Yes, I'd like to try doing that anyway, and then I can
Okay.
say, right, well, let's attempt that first, because if I can't do that, then the rest of this is useless.
All
So,
right. Well, that's going to be a daring engineering difficulty of 1.
of course, it is. Yeah, and
And I'm going
I've
to
got
tell you, as an honest shake, that if you roll a 20 on any roll, Kato specifically, if you roll a 20 on any roll at this point, well, that 5% chance happens.
good to know. Um, can I? I know it's not a focus, but well, question actually. I've got the
Yes.
toolkit from Tom.
Which you do, which will lower the difficulty to a 0.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was going to ask then. So
Yippee!
that means I'm just rolling for momentum now, which I feel slightly better about.
Mhm.
However, just to see if we can maximize that, can I? No, because I'm not using command. Okay. Yeah, I'll just roll the 2 then and see what happens, and pray I don't get a 20.
Okay.
Oh,
No, you get a 9 and a
Yay!
14, so you get 1 success and 1 momentum. Well done. So yeah, you modify the force field belt, and we'll say you put it on 5. 5 is
yeah,
able to start moving waste in and out of their ship to your ship if you so
yeah,
wish.
good, perfect. Thank you, 5. 7, I wonder if you can just help me with understanding a bit more of how all of this works, and also help me with understanding, is your ship in any way compromised atmospherically that we need to address before we take it up into a vacuum, etc.,
No, the
etc.
shell is complete.
Perfect, good. Okay, it's just your engines that were disabled then.
I believe so, yes.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay,
We are not volcanists. We are explorers.
true.
Yeah, the geologist and the volcanist is currently unconscious on the floor over there.
Hmm. Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. I will, as long as, when we take you up into space, you won't implode like, well, an egg, then that's all I really want to be assured of. But you say that you're structurally intact, and there's no compromised sections.
The shell is intact. We are explorers. Meanwhile, while Kato's having a
Yeah.
small aneurysm, we return to Matan and Igus. So, if I understood the plan correctly, and feel free to correct me, Igus is working on the 6 least injured, and then Matan is working on the 2 most injured. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What I'd like to
So,
try. Sorry,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to say, because we need some sort of alternate plan to attempt to treat them,
Mhm.
I was going to explain that plan, but please go ahead.
All I was going to say is that if it affects anything, Igus, you have to roll me a daring in medicine difficulty of 3 to treat the 6 bricks aliens. And then Matan, we can talk about what you want to do after that roll, because that might affect momentum and all that.
Mhm.
I reduced the difficulty down to a 2 because I have quick study, since I
Quick study only
ignore.
reduces it by 1, doesn't it?
Yeah. You said 3, didn't you?
Oh, I thought you said by 2, not 2
Ah,
2.
2. Sorry. Two, if I did say that, I do apologize.
No, you're good. No, yeah, I would go down to a difficulty of 2.
And then does Xenoimmune signature help at all?
Yes, that is what lowered it from a 4 to a 3 to start with.
Cool.
But I'd spend that other point of momentum as well.
Yeah. Okay then. I have a focus because I presume xenobiology counts in this case.
Most definitely.
And I need to get 2. Have a focus. Complication range is only 20 now.
Only 20 for you. Correct. There's your
Nice.
3. All right. So August 24, you were able to treat the 6 least injured of the bricks. And once again, the way you're doing that is you're just kind of making like a tube or a container that you lure out the macro immune system in. And then once the macro immune system has been removed from the bricks, they begin turning more of a brown and a red rather than a white.
Do I need to like use the cement mix to patch up the wound afterwards?
Yes, yes, you do.
Okay, so I presume I just spend the 6 intervals just healing the lot of them.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, Matan, while that's happening, what is your idea?
So I'd like to take some scans of the creatures themselves in order to distinguish between the bioelectrical signatures, let's say, of these creatures, or and that which we have on file for the immune system of the planet itself.
Okay.
And my plan is to modify the tricorder to emit some sort of resonance pulse that will, in essence, like denaturate or dissolve those, like the crystalline lattice structure of the immune system or immune response, whatever they are, of the planet without harming the native tissue of this species.
So, if I were to make an analogy, basically like a targeted radiation treatment for cancer.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I like where you're going with that. So, we'll do it in 2 steps. The first thing, why don't you give me a reason medicine, difficulty of 1. And this is mostly to get you momentum, but this is also to understand what is going on in the actual creature itself so that you're not targeting the wrong thing.
Okay. And focus of xenobiology, I would assume, would apply.
Most definitely.
All right. So focus and 2 dice.
Mhm. And yeah, Chad has actually raised a good point. The only reason I'm not doing an extended task for this is because extended tasks got changed in second edition. I'm not 100% sure I like the change to extended tasks. They're both more difficult and less impactful, but I can talk about that maybe on an off stream. But what matters here is you got 3 successes, Matan. You've already raised your momentum. Well done. And yeah, Matan, because you've been overhearing from Kato's exchange that they are evolved from, part of, progenitors, whatever word you want to use. They are from the Horda. You're able to reference Horda biology and compare it to the bricks. And yeah, sure enough, you believe you now have the ability to perform a targeted treatment.
All right. Then he'll make the necessary, I guess, modifications to the tricorder and emit that resonance pulse to try to sort of systematically target and destroy the white blood cells of this planetary being.
Okay. So, what I'm going to say is go ahead and make this a daring medicine. I think the difficulty here probably is going to be a 4 after accounting for all the traits.
Okay.
And I think because it's interesting and I like a little bit of spice, I'm going to spend the 2 threat I have remaining to make an 18 to 20 complication range.
All right. So, just checking to see if I have anything.
I'm surprised that Matan doesn't have quick study. Well, the good news is expert definitely applies.
I should have been using methodical planning throughout most of this to offer assistance to Bean, but yeah.
It's okay.
Regardless,
It's okay. We're
yeah,
relearning the characters. It's been a month.
I will spend 3 momentum to roll 4 dice,
Okay.
and I have a focus complication range of 18 to 20.
Correct. And you get 5 successes. Well done. So yeah, Matan, you do medical miracles. You not only save the 2 bricks that were the worst off, but you are able to, as you said, denaturate, destroy, disintegrate the immune system of the cosmozoan creatures. So they are also on the way to recovery.
And if I may, I'd like to spend my free momentum from the infectious disease focus and the 1 momentum that I got from that task with the permission of others in the group
Yeah.
to say that because of the nature of that sort of denaturation or that degradation of the immune cells, the creatures themselves have begun assimilating that material, given that they're both more or less silicon-based life forms, or they're made of the same material, and that's actually speeding their recovery.
Yeah.
The fact that they are the most heavily injured, they're recovering more quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. So what it's going to be is I'm trying to look at my notes here because I had notes for all the 10 of them. So you actually save one. One you save, and they reply almost immediately after you affect this treatment. It's almost a resounding change where they go from that sickly white to almost pure brown, pure red in an instant. Very fast recovery time. And they sort of look around, shuffle around, and they go, "You are a good geologist."
Just doing my duty, but I'm glad to see that you are quite visibly doing better.
I am also a geologist. Perhaps we could compare notes.
I would be fascinated by the opportunity to learn more about you and your species. You're very different.
Yes, you are different from any other creature that we have encountered, but I am a geologist, not an explorer.
You know what? There's a lot of overlap. I'd be happy to discuss that culturally with you as well.
All right. Meanwhile, with Kato, I like to imagine at this point you have delivered the slag to the Yatagaratsu's engineering department.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom has come out of the Jeffries tube and he's like, "Okay, so let me get this straight. You are telling me that we are going to be using bricks waste to make new EPS conduit. Is that correct?"
Yes, you've heard the expression that of shitting bricks. Well, it turns out that that is actually what we need right now. Is exactly that. And here
is this sanitary for my systems?
Uh, um, and he turns back to Tom.
I've already had one computer virus. I don't want a computer bacteria.
Well, I mean, it's either this or you
Radiation
stay.
hell, let's get this done.
Yeah, you're looking very mauve at the moment. I can't imagine what continued exposure to this atmosphere is going to continue to do to your bioneural gel packs.
I want to be sanitized afterwards.
Yes, that's fair. So do I, to be honest with you. I can't find fault with that. So,
hello, little brick creature.
Hello, I am number 8. I am an explorer.
can she see? Can Aegis be perceived by 7?
No, but they replied as like they're looking around. They don't know where
okay.
the noise came from, but they do reply all the same.
That's right. They can hear her. They can't see her. Okay. Anyway, Tom. Sorry, Aegis.
Is this one of the other crew?
Yes, my name is 8. I am an explorer.
I thought they were 7 and 5.
There's just silence to that.
Let's not worry about it, Aegis. Let's just Tom. How good an engineer are you?
Well, if I'm being honest, I could probably restart Warp Core with Turkey Baster and Paperclip, but I do not have Turkey Baster or Paperclip.
Right. Well, rather than turning rocks into warp cores, I need you to turn rocks into, well, an EPS conduit.
Okay, well, I will get knee deep in shit and I will make it happen.
Perfect. That's all we can ask. How can I help you with that?
Well, what you could be doing is you could be telling me where the... You know what, I'm just going to say this. I am dealing with unknown material, and I need you to be telling me what it is that I am looking at with the tricorder. I'm not explaining this correctly. My accent is all over the place. I am under great pressure.
Well, that's completely understandable. As we all know, stress definitely affects accents. And using the tricorder that I've got and the readings that I took of the snag, I guess am I able to just tell him the materials that we can break this down into and the compounds that we can use and how we can use it to conduct electroplasma flows and all this kind of thing?
Yes.
Cool. I don't need to roll for that is what I'm asking.
No, you don't need to roll for it.
Cool. Well, then here you go, Tom. These are the readings I took. I think if we melt this all down into well, it's already slag. If we slag it further and then mold it into certain forms, then perhaps we can get an electroplasma flow running from the core or to the core to the main energy capacitors. We can get the engines back up and running at least. I'm thinking perhaps we can maybe even use it to replace some of the isolinear circuitry that's been burnt out, although obviously it'd be very crude, but perhaps it would be more, we can like cobble together some kind of duotronic system, perhaps. Again, I'm kind of
I
spitballing
will get
here.
the engines back up running, and then we will focus on other things.
Great. You go do what you need to do. Tell me what I need to do to help.
Chat's redeemed a complication.
Yeah, I saw that, and I
Why,
regret
Chat?
saying what I said.
So here's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to kind of skip us ahead just a little bit. But Matan and Aigis-24 return to the Amaterasu. 7, who is now 8 for some reason. 8 goes back to their vessel. Unless you want 8 to stay with you. Do you want 8 to stay with you?
I think we need to treat the 2 that we haven't treated yet, because they're in the early stages of the illness. So if they could go to the med bay, then we could.
Yeah, so 5 and 8 would be the ones that we need to treat.
Okay, so we'll say you treat them. And what I need to know is, are you going to be lifting off using your repaired warp core and then immediately snagging the egg ship with the tractor and getting the hell out of Dodge? Are you going to escape the atmosphere and then use the tractor beam? What does that process look like?
I think we try to drag them with us because our warp core might not have the juice to tractor them from the planet's surface.
Okay.
And also, because the method that with the tricorder was capturing the white blood cells of the planet, I would like to return those to the planet, since I don't know what effect it will have them leaving their atmosphere, quote unquote, will have on them.
You just got a momentum from chat, so that's exciting.
Yippee! So yeah, I think just trying to tractor it as we're going.
Okay. So what this is going to be is, whoever wants to make the roll, it is a control and a security. The Yatagaratsu will assist you with a structure security, if I remember the roll correctly. The difficulty on this is a 3.
Okay. I guess we'll take this because that's her power stat and she has targeting systems. That means she has a focus. I shall spend a momentum and 2 threat because I don't want to mess around and find out.
Okay.
So I roll 4 dice. And the ship's assisting me?
Yes, the ship is assisting you with her structure security.
Structure security. Okay. I've got that.
Fun.
Well, that's 5 successes. And then let's see the ship, because it could matter. All right, so that is 6 total successes. You could buy off that complication with 2 of the momentum, bringing you up to 1 momentum total.
I think that's what I'm going to do.
All right. So narratively, what this looks like is, I guess, once Tom and Kato get the engine core running again, you immediately lift off the ship, you snag the brick ship in a tractor beam, and you begin to lift up into the atmosphere. The creature, the Cosmozoan, does have a small response where it tries to pelt you with rocks from its volcanoes, but you are quick enough that you get out of Dodge pretty quickly. And overall, everything seems to be doing well until you note that one of those rocks actually gets lodged in one of the egg ship's recesses, we'll call it. And a quick scan would reveal that this rock is actually a giant collection of those macro immune creatures, as I'll call them. But since you bought off the complication, you're able to do some unique maneuvering, some unique adjustment to the tractor beam, that not so great rock is dislodged and falls back to the planet. But yes, you are out of Dodge, you are away from the planet, and you have saved the day. Well done.
Well,
everything stops being mauve as well.
Excellent.
Well,
excellent work,
great.
I guess.
Yes, great flying, great work, especially with that
internal
boulder
tractor beam.
Well,
bifurcating the tractor beam in order to split the rock from the ship was, surgically precise and genius.
Indeed. And likewise, congratulations to you, Doctor, for, well, I guess a secondary degree in geology.
I suppose that I have the qualifications for it. But,
Life finds a way, I suppose, Doctor.
I am just an explorer, but I do agree that you are a good geologist.
There you go. Is which number are you? Sorry,
I'm 8.
you're 8. Now you were 7.
Yes, when you fixed 7, or the old 7, I gave him his number back.
Oh, so
Oh,
it's a ranking system.
so yeah, is this a rank, or is this a designation, or is this, if you'll pardon the expression, a very fluid term between you? Or
Yes.
Fantastic.
great. Well,
It is
you're
like
very
eating. The top of the sediment is good. The bottom of the sediment is also good. The middle depends on the sediment.
right. And how far down or up the sediment are you?
Well, I am now 8, which means I am near the bottom. There are only 10 of us.
Oh, so that's good.
Yes.
They're very
Oh,
optimistic species.
Well done.
congratulations. Yes.
Yes.
You are not like any life forms we have encountered.
No, we are not.
Yes, you've certainly mentioned that on occasion. Yes,
I'm an explorer.
you are, and so are we, and we would very much like to continue to explore the differences between us. Is your ship capable? Do you know if I could probably work this out myself out of character, but I'll ask anyway. Is your ship capable of following us back to our mothership, and perhaps we could make
Our
an
Volcanist
exchange?
1 will have to work for a moment. But I do believe, yes, that our Volcanist will be able to get us back up and running within a few days.
Okay, well, would you like us to track to your ship to another location? Are you happy here while you effect those?
We would like to see your bigger ship.
You would. Okay. Well, okay. Aegis, can you maintain that tractor lock, please, and set a course back to the Amaterasu, please?
Would you let me like me to set a buoy around this life form to ensure that other people do not scan the planet and get attacked by its immune system?
You know, that is an excellent idea. I was also wondering about perhaps effecting our own scans of the planet, or perhaps. I suppose one thing I haven't tried is reaching out to the planet telepathically, but
You did mention it last time, but
I
you were
did.
like, let's not do that quite yet.
Now that we're in a slightly safer environment, perhaps it might be something we could attempt.
I will also point out we do have the xenoimmune signature of the planet, along with, I would presume, some of its biochemical and bioelectrical rhythms, analogously, of course. It might be possible to use those, along with the Amaterasu's computer suites, to attempt to contact it in a less personally, intimately threatening fashion.
Well, that certainly sounds like it would be the safer option, Doctor. So let's make that attempt once we're back at the AMI. Okay, 8. Are you comfortable on our ship the way it is? Do you need any special changes?
This is not a cave, but I'm an explorer.
Are you comfortable?
I'm an explorer.
Are you in a position that you can carry on existing while being in this environment?
I'm an explorer.
I'm going to take that as a yes then.
I don't think we have much of a choice.
Could I just scan 8 to make sure that they are?
Yeah,
alive?
he's fine. He'll be all right.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's an explorer. Yeah.
I mean, they did survive, at least temporarily, in the atmosphere of a demon class planet, more or less. I think that this.
Yeah, this is entirely true.
Entirely amenable to their constitution, but it's nothing particularly dangerous.
Well, talking of constitutions, let's get back to our ship before he takes a liking to eating the bulkheads.
Please do not eat
this
me.
sediment is actually quite nice.
Yes,
do not eat me.
Please do not eat the sediment. It is
that is my body. Please do not eat it.
It is analogous to the shell of your ship.
Oh, then I will eat other sediment. And because I find it funny, 8 actually kind of goes into one of the chairs of the bridge and starts eating the chair.
I mean,
I'm going to replicate its stuff for it to eat. Please
please
stop
do.
eating me. Please stop eating me. Please stop eating me. I may not be able to feel pain, but please stop eating me.
I'm an explorer.
You are an explorer who is currently eating my body.
That is what explorers do. We sample
No,
sediments from all different locations.
please don't eat me.
Fascinating.
I
It
will get
is,
you
isn't it?
sentiment
I
for you
mean,
to try.
you and I would consider the no, continue, Bean. You and I would consider the exploration of the stars and different planets as being how we would explore. We meet new cultures and
Maybe their definition of explorer is more like a gastronome from our planet.
oh,
Please
how
don't
fascinating!
please
Yes,
don't
yes.
mind my chairs. Those are that we had, no, we had to get them. I will get you rocks to eat. Do not eat myself. I will pick up the geode.
No eat eye.
No eat. I am detecting multiple hull breaches on various decks.
How
I
many?
will
Wait,
be
how many
back.
have we got aboard?
Two.
Oh,
At
We
least
just
yes.
do a
two if I
side
remember
shot to
correctly.
5, just happily scooting down the corridor, leaving a great breach in the corridor, in its wake.
There's just I just 24 chasing after it. We're putting them in air jail. They're just lifted up off the ground.
Now, there is
There.
one scene I want to
Mm.
handle before we call this episode to a close.
Hmm.
Is that you do return to the Amaterasu, you return 5 and 8 back to their ship. There's a monumental culture exchange where they ask a lot about the Horda, you ask a lot about them. It's a great exploration all around. But the captain does eventually say, well, Matan, Kato, I guess, I believe commendations are in order for all of you. But I do believe you all should be present as we attempt to hail the Cosmozoan.
Well, it's certainly a great honor, Captain.
Yes.
Oh,
Looking
I will
forward
be
to
there
it.
present anyway. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, comms officer, open a channel.
I opened the
And
channel.
there is no visual feed, but I'd like you to imagine the dude, Jeff Bridges, as you get a very calm, relaxed voice that says, whoa, no one's ever contacted me before? Are you like that metal thing that's in orbit of me? Yes, we are explorers of our own. Are you in any distress? No, I actually feel pretty good. You got rid of that thing on my back. I'm feeling pretty great. Oh, well, if you like, we can leave a buoy that others will avoid you. Nah, man, I gotta eat somehow. You are very small creatures. Yes, yes, we are. All right, far out. And then there's a further exchange of Stoner versus Vulcan, which is, in my mind, a very funny exchange, but we only have so much time.
I have the feeling that they eat ships
I
Yeah.
got that impression as well, and I'm
or asteroid belts.
Morally conflicted.
I wasn't going to say that. I was more grateful that between the three of us, four of us, thank you, Tom, that we managed to, you know, get away from the danger when we did.
I
But
would not feel morally convicted. It would be like treating a wolf. It is a predator. It eats life forms.
Yes, but wolves don't tend to, eat starships and their crews.
But it is just a relatively large predator. True, we
Yes,
do not
preying
wish
on
to be
sentient
eaten.
life forms. Yes,
True, it does.
oh,
We do not wish
hence
to.
the moral conflict I'm
well,
experiencing.
I
Yes,
mean, I sincerely doubt that starships are its
Primary
it's
food source.
uh,
I would hope not.
yes. Well, yeah, I should imagine that more like asteroids or meteor impacts would be more beneficial. Perhaps, perhaps even small moons or
Or
stellar
doomsday
material. Or
devices.
sorry,
Doomsday devices.
dooms. Well, it's certainly something that we can explore. Um,
We're explorers, says Abe.
you are. It's true.
Indeed, yes.
Mm.
I'm going back to
Um,
sick bay now.
Lieutenant Commander, why is this creature eating my chair?
Stop! Yeah, Joe, for you.
And that's where we'll end today's session. So yeah, what you all think? I thought that went amazingly.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes,
It was great to get back into the swing of things.
it
Again.
was. Yep. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I was actually kind of worried because I didn't want to pack lead these creatures, but I also wanted them to be kind of simple. So hopefully it came across well.
I
Mhm.
feel like they're hyper-specific. Their entire species, they're specialized and they can't get out that specialization.
Hmm.
In
That's
fact,
more or
they are
less
too
what
rigid.
happens where 5 and 7, or now 5 and 8, are very much we go out and eat things, and that is our entire job. So,
It's not the case that they're dumb, it's that they're very good at processing resources. However, they can't fly, they can't fix the ship because they're solely not designed for that.
mhm. Yeah, they're very, very interesting species all around. Maybe we'll see more of them in the future. Who knows? But yeah, Twitch stick around because we're gonna raid somebody. But YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye bye, YouTube.
Bye bye.